from what I've read in your books and such, it spoke about, you wrote about how when a Uton is initially created in the real universes, then they come through all the levels, and then they start right at the bottom of life as animals, and they work their way back up again, sort of thing. That's right? Is that right? And so.
Those are, all the body types that you see, even from microorganisms to atoms or whatever. You see, it's all in creation, okay? And these are just, it doesn't matter how big or small they are. It's not about size. Here is where size does not matter, okay? So it's about awareness, and this becomes the difference. But from the personal human mind, let's just say the scientific or literal or intellectual mind sees things a particular way. It sees things one-dimensional. It sees the physical realm and what's taking place on Earth with the body and the mind and the senses as life itself. Well, this is not life. There is no life here. This is a simulator. Everything is simulation. Your body, your mind, the actions that you go through. This is real animation, is what it is. It's all animated. The real you is alive, but this is just like your car. It's an animation, and those bodies, all these things that you see, the bugs, the animals, the fish, just whatever it is, the microorganisms, the germs, the cancers. These are just vehicles in creation, and they've been created through the process of all of us being here, because we're constantly creating while we're in creation. It's just automatic. It's like if you have a newborn baby and he's 3 months or 4 months old, and you set him in a room, well, he's not going to just sit there and just do nothing. He's going to move around. He's going to crawl around. He's going to do different things, etc. And this is us in creation when we're first here. We're just moving through things. We're interacting with others, mainly unconscious, but eventually, the cause and effect process, as it goes, it continually unfolds itself. And then we go through lifetimes. We've come through millions of lifetimes, but it's so fast. It's like instant that here we are, here and now. And all these cause and effects, well, you're carrying these things. That's your kind of like your baggage. But yes, you go through these vehicles because you need to take it a step at a time, just like baby steps. And then eventually you come into where you are now, a body where you have the senses, and you can become more self-aware. You see, most animals in that, they live on their instinct or their intuition, etc., because they're in tune with the natural environment. Well, so are the personal bodies that we create, or the human bodies, or whatever you want to call them. But for the most part, that part has been thrown by the wayside, and the people have become over creative and agreed to the creations of others, mainly because this planet was invaded by the reptilians from Orion, etc. And I deal with the Orions too. There's a lot going on there. That's a fun adventure that I've taken on with the real guides. And so, the planet has been infected by these individuals. They didn't bring anything of benefit. It's just another planet that they rape and pillage, basically. And that's why you're seeing what's taking place today. And they've become obsessed with their control so much that they're willing to destroy the planet to keep their control going. And this is what we're experiencing right now, with everything taking place. And it's only going to get worse until people wake up. And that's what I'm trying to do, is share something very real and beneficial. But for the most part, it's very foreign. It's very, you might say, alien to people. It's like, it's too real. It makes too much sense to where, most people are in their routines. They're in their 9-to-5 jobs. They're looking at a future where they want a bigger house or more money or something. So they're chasing the phenomena of this world. And so they keep agreeing to the demise of it. And this is what they don't see. And this is most people. So the planet will continue to go on as it does. And there's very few like yourself or others that have this opportunity, because the boys pick you. They pick certain people like ripe fruit on a tree. Just like a farmer, looks at his fruit tree. Not all the fruit is pickable. Not all the avocados are ready to pick from the tree, but they pick the ones and they provide situations to where, because of what I've created, that certain things are available, and all of a sudden you come across it and it sparks a little interest there because on the real side, they have shown you certain things already and it's filtered down to the real you. So yes, all those vehicles that you've went through in the past, yes, and you can take a look at your past lives. Once you learn how to do that, you can go through your past lives. Yeah, it's all there, but you really don't need to because you're always now. You're the sum total in your awareness of all those experiences. You're the sum total of that now. Just like this life, everything you've gone through in this lifetime, right at this moment, you're the sum total of those experiences. You see?
Yeah, I've done some sort of past life regression stuff, and it's been quite interesting. Some of the results I've had, and some of the information I've come across through that. With these reptilian folks, I mean, are these the ones that are always in control? And if when the epoch does come to an end and it does start all over again, when the epoch is destroyed and stuff like that, and it starts over again, do they automatically re-establish themselves as the overlords again? Is this like a constant recurring theme then?
Well, it's like the business world. They're not going to stop. It's like the termites that eat your house. They don't stop because, again, everybody wants to survive. And, some want to survive better than others. And there are those that always, you see it, there are always those. That's why there are governments. So you look at the governments, you look at, people rebel against the governments, but they agreed to them. They've agreed to be supporters of their controllers. And yeah, these individuals, they go from lifetime to lifetime in different embodiments. And the Orions and the reptilians, they live a lot longer. I mean, they go for thousands of years and then they go to sleep and then they come back and they do it again and they have others taking their place, etc. So again, they have developed themselves in a particular way that, yes, as long as they're in creation, they're going to do what they want to. They have free will. And the whole of life, the isness life it does not dictate. Life is not a controllable thing. It's an isness. And once you understand this, it's like the sun shining. That's why I use the sun as an example. It's an isness you recognize. And so this is where you have the possibility to supersede creation altogether while you're in creation. It's the potential is unlimited. This is how life really is. But we as personal in this one-dimensional area with our limitations of just the five senses and even the other four bodies that you don't see, they're all with you. You have four other bodies. You're limited to the mind and the senses. So you've created an obligation, an agreement to agree with what others have decided, which is fine. We want to get along, but at the same time, it gets to the point where it becomes restrictive. And you stay unaware, and then you just grow old, and you forget you were here. So, again, that's been the basic routine. Now you have the opportunity to see more. And do you want to keep doing that routine, or do you want to figure out that there is more? And it's not about rebellion. That's not the idea. It's about awareness, your real awareness. So this, again, becomes the challenge to figure this out. So what I've written are references. Okay, it's not doctrine, it's not teaching. Okay, that's different. You got religious doctrine, you got political doctrine, you got spiritual teachings and all this stuff. Fine, have fun. This is the old stuff. This is where they make you passive, like meditation and all that. It's fine. It can be something. It can be like an aspirin if you got a headache, but to live for that alone, no, it just keeps you physical and astral. That's it. Where the new you will eventually, you'll become aware of the real universes and the challenge of that and to step up real. But you have to be like the real guides to stand real in your real universes. You just, you just don't get a free ticket like to Disneyland to get there. You have to be able to stand real and be aware and, do your part with the whole of life, because the whole of life is about survival from a real position and a real awareness not a secondary position like in creation. So here you struggle. You struggle to survive. In the real universes, it's an awesome real position where you're brighter than 1,000 suns. Your awareness is extremely awesome, and there are no restrictions. There are no darkness. No one can touch you, But that's all here and now. But it's recognition. So, it's just a lot. But again, you start somewhere, so you have this opportunity, right now, young man, and it sounds like a fairy tale. It sounds really far out, but it's just so real. But you have to recognize that, and this recognition is very subtle, but it supersedes everything. But again, creation, again, it's its own huge challenge, and it's how you start to interpret it. But most people, they eventually give up. They get lost. They go back to their personal self, and they just think, well, it doesn't exist. But it's something that has to be considered to where your mind can't recognize it. So that's where your real awareness comes in, to recognize it, and very few people do. But, you start off somewhere. So again, all these body embodiments that you've went through, they've added up to your experience right here. But you're always the decider. You have free will. But what's so cool about the real universe is that it's an isness. You don't need anything. You don't need the mind and the body and all these things. You have this endless recognition, and there's always more. There's always more to recognize. It's an endless journey, and then you're standing with real beings, and no more deception, no more nonsense, and that's where the real adventure starts, with your real awareness. And so, but while you're in creation, you can utilize that too. So again, you'll survive better here with it as you continue on, because there's always a plus factor, more so than the system. But the systems here want you to believe that they have the best thing for you, and it's good that you have a good job and you just keep chasing money. Well, at the same time, while you're here, you do that. You do the thing for the physical body. But at the same time, you can become more aware also. And the boys will continually work with you. The real guides will continually stand real with you, as long as you have the intent. It's very important that you recognize your intent to do so, you see. And not just a wannabe, it's like, okay, I want to see what this is. And they will still show you certain things. But when you really have your intent with something, like it's a relationship, like when you really love a person, that's your focus. And they see your intent. And intent is very important, because that provides you into areas that, most people will never see. So this becomes the fun part. Yes, it becomes like a real love affair with the whole of life. But you decide that. Yes, Mr. Kib.